Fostering connection through vulnerability, the People Pleaser podcast validates struggles, celebrates growth, and inspires positive change. Together, let's embrace authenticity, challenge patterns, and evolve with compassion. Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's your host, Corie, and we are trying the old filming whilst recording saga one more time, and I've made some adjustments since my first time. I've really gotten to know my do not disturb settings. I'm holding my microphone instead of leaning over onto a mini table. I am in the process of buying a proper mic boom that can clamp onto a chair or a table or a desk, but we're not there yet. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I attempted to record my first episode with video the other day, and my wonderful, loving husband phoned me 4 minutes in, and what I didn't know is that FaceTime just stopped the recording, even when my phone was on Do Not Disturb. So what would this be without learning curves and moments of humility and being forced into learning? Nothing wrong with that. Another part of my learning journey is to trust my gut when it comes to filming these episodes. And this is actually take 2 of this episode. I've recorded a full episode on this topic, and what I often do is I'll re-listen to it, edit it, etc., etc. I have not been able to bring myself to listen to it, and that is because of the feeling I felt while recording it, which is really interesting to pay attention to. And as Tuesday approaches, which is the day I was hoping to release the episode, I was just not feeling it, just not excited about it. So it's the weekend. I am just laying pretty low at home today. I ran a few errands and went for a walk this morning with a girlfriend, but I had time and desire. And the more that the episode topic percolated over the last week, the more ideas that kind of came forward. And so we're just going to dive in. Today's episode is people pleasing and professional appointments. And it's actually so perfect that I'm talking about it today because I have an experience to share that just happened to me today on this topic. So my people pleasing of the week story is actually from today. And it was when I went to get my nails done. I'm realizing I have my bare feet are exposed in this video. But I just got a pedicure, so I'm just letting them free. And this is probably relatable to people who go to nail salons, and honestly, 9.5 times out of 10, I get the loveliest human beings on planet Earth doing my nails. And so I am always just on my very best behavior. My manners are 11 out of 10. I am just doling it out. I am just really trying to return their generosity, their kindness. And what that has led to is a silencing of some of my preferences, and whether that be the shape of the nail, the color of the nail polish, whatever. And honestly, let's just put it out there. This is all very trivial. However, I am paying money, and it's not a crazy thing that we would want, we would go in there with a certain desire for the outcome, and that we can communicate those needs. But I have had a very difficult time communicating those needs. And I rarely give them any type of feedback, even when they are giving me openings, like asking me, do you like the color? Is the length okay? Is the shape okay? Today, I told the technician right at the beginning that I was hoping for her to trim my nails pretty short because I am a runner and there's nothing worse than having like your toenails hit the top of your sneaker when you're running, and it can begin to actually hurt. It can cause pain. And that was actually my main reason for going in, is I just wanted somebody to like really trim them and clean them up. And because I've been noticing when I run that um, things have been painful. So she cut my nails, and I noticed right away, like, she did cut them, but I wish she cut them a little bit shorter. And she'd like already started on the whole like pedicure process. And I was like, like, is it too late? Like, have we reached the point of no return? Like, am I going to just mess up her whole system? She's got an order, how she does things. But I kept thinking to like running being painful, and how I really am trying to avoid that. So I asked for her to cut them even shorter. And that was hard. It was well received. She fulfilled my wishes. And I think the difference is like when I do cut my own toenails, it's a massacre. It's brutal. And which is why I try to go get pedicures, so that I don't have to enter into these like bloodbath situations where I'm just hacking away at like skin and nail. Sorry, I know, graphic. So anyways, I think I've nailed that one home. Hit that one home. Um, so I was proud of myself. I stood up for myself in that setting where there was all kinds of people pleasing happening. It was all around me, and I pushed through and spoke to my needs, spoke to my desires, and they were well received. So we're just going to file that experience away as a win, as a reminder that I can do hard things, and that next time it might feel a little bit easier, and I can rest assured that I've done it before and I can do it again. So what is it about certain kinds of appointments that makes it so difficult to be honest? I guess like that is the real thing that comes up for me, is there is like a lack of honesty. There's a lack of like speaking to my needs. There's this theme of like appeasing them because they are the professional, and there are interesting like power dynamics at play. And when I hit record on my first version of this episode, I had actually just gone to the dentist, and that's what really stemmed this, where this idea stemmed from. And that was the age-old conversation with the dental hygienist, where she asks about flossing. And oh my God, the anxiety, the struggle that comes up for me when I am faced with that question. Are you flossing? How regular are you flossing? And, I actually do floss. Not every day, not, there's no system, but I do floss. Like, I can safely say that I floss every week for sure, sometimes multiple times per week. But when the question is asked, I'm like filled with guilt. I'm filled with shame. I often like overdo it. Like I'm like, oh, like really play it up that I'm like a plus flosser. And the thing is that like my teeth don't lie. Like she can tell whether or not I'm flossing. And really, it's just an opening for her to tell me that I should be flossing minimum 3 times a week. And that is just like an example. And I think the only reason I actually do floss as much as I do now is because I'm trying to get more comfortable in these conversations with my dental hygienist. So in this respect, like that actually has worked in my favor for my dental hygiene, my oral hygiene. the pressure of this dental hygienist has actually worked in my favor, but it really does bring up a lot of anxiety for me. And oh man, there's just like so many examples. Like the one big one that comes up for me a lot, and that has unfortunately been a really long journey, has been with my digestive health and seeing a naturopath, seeing a doctor, and trying to explain these very hard to explain symptoms and feelings. And I'm not always great at like tracking things. So, like timeline, how often, how long has this been going on? I have had digestive challenges, issues, whatever you want to call it, for as long as I can remember. And what often happens is when I am asked this question, like, how long have you been experiencing these symptoms? Because I don't know the actual facts, like the data, I downplay. I'm like, 2 to 3 years. Um, and also when faced with like any type of intervention, so I was working with a naturopath for a while, and he had recommended certain digestive enzymes, and he was treating me for SIBO, which is like it required a pretty major elimination diet. So I wasn't eating like garlic and onion and apples and all like wonderful things. I would go back like weekly or every other week, and he'd be like, "So, are you experiencing like any progress, or has there been any positive change?" And like there would be small, subtle changes, but like I knew that the problem had not actually been addressed. I think, if anything, I was putting little band-aids on it. But like also in that situation, I was shelling out so much money for not only the naturopath appointments, but like all the supplements that the naturopath was recommending. There was also this like, but I want to believe it's happening because this professional is telling me it should help. I've invested all this money, I've invested all this time, and it's got to work. So I would appease, I would downplay, I would really focus on like, oh yeah, like there's been some improvement, but really I was still riddled with like so much digestive unrest and discomfort, and it actually took a major toll on my mental health because I have been in a constant state of discomfort and inflammation for as long as I can remember. So that's one that's really loaded for me because I also want to believe in naturopathic medicine. I want to trust these holistic practices. I feel that all of this work really aligns with my values so that I really am like, I want this to work, and I want to will it to work by, saying, oh yeah, like there's been some change and maybe we just need to kind of dig deeper. Um, So that one is still a work in progress because I actually am now working with a nurse practitioner and a doctor and getting like actual testing done and trying to get to the root of the problem. Whereas a lot of these other remedies were just like dealing with the symptoms, not dealing with the problem. Maybe that's more information that you really needed about my GI tract, but it's really a big part of my life. What else? I think where I kind of got the cringy feeling what from my last episode that I recorded was when I went into uh, getting waxed. And I still want to talk about this because I know that it still is a major episode of people pleasing every time I go get a Brazilian. And I get monthly Brazilians. There you are. There you have it. The people pleasing exists kind of in a couple of different ways when I'm on the table. So, for those of you who have not had a Brazilian, this is a very vulnerable place to be in, not just emotionally, but physically. You're really putting a lot of faith, a lot of trust into this technician who is doing the procedure for you. And so when I am leading, like getting myself pumped up to basically be spread eagle in front of a stranger, there's a lot of things that are going on in my mind that I am like trying to like not be vulnerable. But like that's impossible. Like it's just impossible. I can be a certain level of comfortable in that setting. Like I've been getting them done for years. However, there's still so much that I am embarrassed about, and I am like trying to pretend that I'm not embarrassed, but I am. And just like the physical maintenance that goes into like preparing for a Brazilian is one facet of this people pleasing, where that's all I'm going to say about that. But the other people pleasing that is so funny and I just can't stop, and it has so much to do with just like who I am as a person and the career I'm in, is that, okay, I'm on the table, spread eagle, naked from the waist down, and the technician, so the woman or the person who is doing the procedure, and I are in a conversation. And it is just so funny to me because, like, look at me. Like, here I am. And we are talking about, like, her emotional traumas, her relationship. I am going full fucking counselor on this woman while she is ripping out my pubes. And I am like tending to her needs. I am like, if I've seen this person before, I've like remembered certain things about, things she shared previously. I'm bringing those up. I'm asking for some follow up. I am just taking care of this person. And the last thing in the entire world that we are acknowledging is that I am naked. That all my bits are out. I am naked. She is not. She is fully clothed. But we are just talking about like the most insane things. And I guess to me it is just like, it's people pleasing in that I am trying to take care of her while she performs my wax, my Brazilian. And that is just so funny. And I don't know how to get out of this pattern. Like, I actually worked there. I was a waxer, and it's me. Like, okay, because I was also doing this when I was the tech. So I was like full counselor mode, trying to make the person who was half naked on the table comfortable. So I was like talking about anything and everything under the sun, except for what was going on in the room. Again, just like tending to their needs. And so it's really interesting how when I'm vulnerable or in a vulnerable situation, I'm still trying to people please and take care of everyone, take care of the room. And then when people around me are vulnerable, I'm still in the caregiver role. So like there is no space or opportunity for, I'm not letting anyone take care of me. I am doing my damnedest to take care of everyone else. And it's, what do I do? What can I do about it? I'm looking for answers, actually. So please tell me. Yeah, so there's just so many examples. We get a massage. Any type of service that we could get where we go in with a certain expectation. For me, like with massages, it's all about the pressure. Like, is the pressure enough? I'm like, oh yeah. When really, like, I need them to just hammer into me as hard as they possibly can. So these kind of like professional appointments where we're getting a service done, where we're in these professional settings. It always comes down to bullying my way into taking care of everyone. And even when that means, or even when that looks like silencing my own needs, and by silencing my own needs, by saying, like, by not saying that I want my toenails trimmed shorter, like, I think that I'm taking care of the person performing my pedicure. That's not how it works. And it's a whole lot of work and a whole lot of responsibility to try to enter a room and take care of everyone. When I enter a room, I enter as a thermometer, making sure the environment, making sure the climate, making sure the temperature is right for everybody at all times. And that is even like, it really, really ramps up when I'm like in a family situation or a friend situation, or like when I'm in a work situation with clients, I can really ramp it up. But I'm noticing that I'm even trying to do it in these like professional settings. And it all comes down to like, yeah, just really trying to look after everybody but myself. And I know I've said that, but I'm really seeing it. It's becoming very clear. And it actually felt so good today to be like, actually, could you trim my toenails a little bit shorter? Thank you. I walked out of there with my like toenails at the exact perfect length. And I'm like, I killed it in there. Total boss. What are some of your professional appointments, these experiences that we have where we go in and we're like buying a service, paying for a service, or we're in these like a little bit more structured environments where we are trying to get our needs met? What are the hard ones for you? I'd love to hear from you on my Instagram at peoplepleaser.pod. That's at peoplepleaser, all one word, .pod. And maybe we can engage a little bit on our successes. Like, where did we just like really communicate our needs and speak our truth and ask for what we deserve? And what are the ones that you're still struggling with? Because, yeah, for me, there's still definitely a struggle. And maybe it just comes with the territory. I don't know that I'll ever not feel anxious about getting a Brazilian. Like, that's one that I think I'm okay to feel anxious about, because the alternative is being like really comfortable in that setting. And I don't know what that would say about me either. So, alrighty, that is it for today. Thank you for being here. And hey, I actually recorded the whole video. So who knows what I'm going to do with that video, but it'll be fun to have some clips that I can actually share on Instagram, little teasers. And yeah, so that's it for today. Mwah. Once again, this is Corie with the People Pleaser Podcast. Thank you so much for your support. And if you did like what you heard, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can find daily content from me on both Instagram and TikTok. Both handles are at peoplepleaser.pod. That's at peoplepleaser, all one word, .pod. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode.